Today we are going to discuss a topic on diabetes and exercise prescription. So सबसे पहले हमारे इस टॉपिक को सुनने के बाद दिमाग में क्या चीज आती है कि what is diabetes, and secondly, can exercise prevent or delay diabetes? So first of all, we are starting with the diabetes. So as you all know that exercise is excellent medicine. We can call exercise as a medicine for an ailing heart or keeping a healthy one healthy. It's just important of it's just important for type 2 diabetes. That is, exercise is very important for the type 2 diabetes as well as for type 1 diabetes patients. So this is a kind of diabetes that tends to develop gradually, often in response to excess weight or lack of physical activity. So starting with the physical activities. So you should all know what is physical activity is. So any bodily movement produced by the skeletal muscles resulting in energy expenditure above resting state. So this we call as a physical activity. And now what is physical fitness? When we call a person a physical fit, when a set of attributes that people have or achieve which relates to the ability to perform physical activity, then we call a person as a physical fit. So starting with the diabetes mellitus definition. So as we all know that diabetes mellitus is a metabolic disorder of multiple etiologies characterized by chronic hyperglycemia with disturbances of carbohydrate, fat, and protein metabolism. And it is characterized by symptoms like polyuria, polydipsia, and polyphagia. So as we all know that basically there are two types of diabetes mellitus. Primary diabetes, we will classify it into primary diabetes and as well as secondary diabetes. So primary diabetes is further divided into two types that we all know in common manner, that is type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And secondary diabetes is like just gestational diabetes, or a person can develop diabetes due to any other systemic disorders. So now exercise and type 1 diabetes. What is the role of exercise in type 1 diabetes? So if a person suffering from type 1 diabetes, if he will do exercises, then it improves physical fitness, it increases self-confidence and cardiovascular function, as well as self-confidence as well as cardiovascular function. So it has no direct effect on glucose control. So, and I should suggest that a person suffering from type 1 diabetes should avoid strenuous exercise before bedtime. Now the exercise and type 2 diabetes. So if a person suffering from type 2 diabetes, if you do exercise on a regular basis, then it improves physical fitness and reduces fat body percentage, and it improves cardiovascular function and CHD risk profile. It increases self-confidence and improves glucose control by improving insulin sensitivity and increasing blood flow mechanism. So if a physical activity along with diet and medication is considered fundamental treatment of diabetes. Activity of skeletal muscles plays important role in regulation of glucose metabolism. Physical activity improves features of the metabolic syndrome in patients with type 2 diabetes, as well as brings reduction in blood glucose level in normal and diabetes mellitus individuals. So if a person regularly exercises, regular exercises improves insulin sensitivity and as a consequences may improve glucose tolerance. So such effects, what will bring benefit, how it is benefit for the patients. So if such effects are beneficial in patients with type 2 diabetes, since they enhance work capacity and quality of life, and may also help to reduce the requirement for insulin or hypoglycemic agents. Now, how we can diagnose a diabetes mellitus? So there is a criteria which is given by the American Diabetes Association in 2012. It's a most prevailing criteria nowadays. So if a person is having a random blood glucose level more than 200 milligram per dl, then we can say the person may have a diabetes. Secondly, if a fasting plasma glucose is more than 126 milligram per dl, then we can call a person is diabetic. Or 2-hour plasma glucose, the common term we known as PP, postprandial, if it is more than 200 milligram per dl during an oral glucose tolerance test, then we can say patient is a diabetic. Now, what are the basic complications of a diabetic patient? First of all, the most important, the most critical complication for a diabetic patient is diabetic ketoacidosis and non-ketotic hyperosmolar state. When the hyperglycemia prevails so much, when the blood glucose level rises to an extent, then patient might develop diabetic ketoacidosis or non-ketotic hyperosmolar state. So the chronic complications of diabetes mellitus affects many organ systems and are responsible for the majority of morbidity and mortality. So the chronic complications can be divided into vascular and non-vascular complications, such as vascular complications such as microvascular and macrovascular. So microvascular example such as retinopathy, neuropathy, and nephropathy. On the other hand, macrovascular complications such as coronary artery diseases and peripheral vascular diseases and cerebrovascular diseases. So another one is non-vascular complications, which includes problems such as gastroparesis, that is slowing down of the function of the stomach, and sexual dysfunction and skin changes. So as a consequence of its chronic complications, diabetes mellitus is the most common cause of adult blindness, a variety of debilitating neuropathies, and cardiac and cerebral disorders. So here is the diabetes management tried. अगर कोई भी patient जो diabetes mellitus से ग्रसित है, who is suffering from diabetes mellitus type 2 और type 1, अगर ये तीनों चीजें जो ट्राइड में शो की गई हैं, अगर इसको फॉलो करता है, तो वो एक अच्छा मैनेजमेंट अचीव कर सकता है, स्कोर कर सकता है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल न्यूट्रिशन, which is very beneficial, very important for the diabetic patient. Second one is medication, and of course most important, exercise, which we are going to discuss today. So what are the key mechanisms by which exercise contributes to effective diabetes management? First of all, improved sensitivity to insulin in the peripheral tissues. Secondly, exercise reduces levels of the blood glucose. It reduces dosage or need for insulin or oral hypoglycemic drug. Decrease plasma insulin levels and enhance glucose tolerance. Now, what are the type of physical activity we can suggest to a patient suffering from type 2 diabetes? So we can remember it with a mnemonic name as SAFE. हमेशा exercises जो prescribe करनी है patient को, it should be safe for the patient. So SAFE से हम क्या याद रख सकते हैं? First one is strengthening exercise. Another one is aerobic exercises. Third one is flexibility exercises, and last one is endurance exercises. So अगर patient safe protocol follow करता है, so in इस condition के अंदर वो अपना जो type 2 diabetes है, blood glucose level जो है उसको proper तरीके से manage कर सकता है. So now comes the resistance exercise, or we can call the strengthening exercises. First of all, anaerobic exercises. So anaerobic exercise use larger muscles that do not require oxygen. We all know that anaerobic exercises does not require so much of oxygen because it uses creatine phosphate as an energy source. So it helps in building strong muscles, lowers blood glucose, and makes the action of the insulin more effective. Now the aerobic exercises, as we all know that aerobic exercise needs more oxygen. So for example, cardiovascular exercises such as running, jogging, swimming, jumping, skipping, these all comes under as a aerobic exercises. Now the third one is flexibility exercises. So in flexibility exercises, there are basically 5 types of exercises which you can suggest to the patients. First one is stretching, yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, and dancing. So what is flexibility exercises? Flexibility exercises basically aimed at increasing or maintaining range of motion of a joint, tone in muscles, and for the better muscular and body control. So for this, we advise patient to do a flexibility exercises. Now the endurance exercises. So low resistance exercises and high repetition. When low resistance combines with the high repetition exercises, then it called as a endurance exercises. Examples: walking, cycling, swimming, or upper extremity ergometry that involves the use of the large muscles of the body. Now coming towards the risk associated with the exercise in patients with diabetes. So there are basically several types of risk factors such as cardiovascular risk, metabolic risk such as hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia, musculoskeletal and traumatic risk. For example, foot ulcers, skin breakdown. As we all know that a diabetic patient should keep his foot clean and उसको उस पे ज़्यादा ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत है foot पे. So in order to maintain the foot hygiene, we should always suspect the foot ulcers, skin breakdown, and infection in the presence of neuropathy. If a patient suffering from neuropathy, then we can go for a regular foot checkup. Orthopedic injuries such as peripheral neuropathy and accelerated degenerative joint disease such as Charcot joint destruction. So if a patient suffering from peripheral neuropathy, so in this condition, patient may accelerate the degenerative joint disease, which is commonly known as the Charcot joint destruction. So what is Charcot joint destruction? Charcot joint destruction you all know as कि जो भी weight bearing joints होते हैं, जो भी weight bearing joints होंगे, अगर पेशेंट सफर कर रहा है पेरिफेरल न्यूरोपैथी से, तो उसके अंदर उसके सेंसेशंस जो होंगे वो हैम्पर्ड हो जाएंगे. तो सेंसेशन हैम्पर्ड होने की वजह से उसको पता नहीं लगेगा कि उस पर कोई अगर डिजेनरेटिव चेंजेस ज्यादा होते हैं और पेन का उसको सेंसेस नहीं आते हैं. So this is the Charcot joint destruction. Now the microvascular risk. Microvascular risk includes retinopathy, nephropathy, neuropathy, and which includes the peripheral neuropathy, is an indication to limit weight-bearing exercises. Now, what are the precautions and special instructions for patients with diabetes? So, exercising late in the evening increases the risk of nocturnal hypoglycemia. Secondly, avoid strenuous exercise until diabetes is under control. Third one is know the signs, symptoms, and management of hypoglycemia, such as confusion, weakness, fatigue, loss of consciousness, and convulsions. Next is episodes of hypoglycemia may occur as late as 24 to 48 hours post-exercise, and we should focus on certain medication also, such as beta blockers, Coumadin, calcium channel blockers, diuretics, and nicotinic acid. So, and next is carry a carbohydrate source during exercise. We should suggest patient should avoid exercise at time or peak insulin effect, or do one of the following, such as use a carbohydrate snack 30 minutes prior to exercise. Secondly is decrease insulin or oral hypoglycemic dosage prior to exercise. So test blood glucose frequently. Glycemic response to different circumstances are individual. Schedule exercise 1 to 2 hours after meals, not at peak insulin time. Plenty of water before, during, and after exercise. Take caution when exercising in hot weather. Heat loss, because heat loss is less efficient in many patients with diabetes due to poor peripheral circulation and failure of the sweating mechanism. Monitor patients with diabetes for hypertension during exercise and hypotension after exercise. Carry an identification card that indicates that the patient has diabetes. Exercising extremities should not be used as an insulin injection sites. Inject insulin into the abdomen if exercise will begin 30 minutes after injection. Patient with peripheral neuropathy will require an alternative method to pulse taking. Abnormal pulse rates and blood pressure response will be exhibited by those patients with autonomic neuropathy. And the last one is patient with peripheral neuropathy must wear proper shoes and inspect their feet daily for blisters, sores, and ulcers. So this is a fitness pyramid. जो भी पेशेंट है उनको ध्यान रखना चाहिए, जो पिरामिड का टॉप का पोर्शन है उसको अवॉइड करें, और जो नीचे वाइडर पोर्शन है उसको अपनी डेली रूटीन के अंदर अडॉप्ट करें. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल वॉकिंग हो गई, रेगुलर एक्सरसाइज हो गई, रिक्रिएशनल एक्टिविटीज हो गई 3 to 5 times a week, आपका लेजर एक्टिविटीज हो गई दैट शुड बी अराउंड 2 to 3 times a week, और अपना जो सेडेंटरी लाइफस्टाइल है उसको मिनिमाइज करिए. सो हाउ मच एक्सरसाइज, हम उसको कैसे बताएंगे कि पेशेंट को कि उसको कितनी एक्सरसाइज करनी है. सो इट गोज फॉर द प्रिंसिपल नोन एज फिट प्रिंसिपल, व्हिच इंक्लूड्स फ्रीक्वेंसी, इंटेंसिटी, टाइप एंड टाइम. सो फ्रीक्वेंसी इज एक्सरसाइजिंग 4 to 6 times a week. किसी भी डायबिटिक पेशेंट को अगर हम सजेस्ट करते हैं एक्सरसाइज, तो उसको 4 to 6 times a week एक्सरसाइज करनी चाहिए. और किस बेसिस पे करनी चाहिए? Around 60 to 70% of his maximum heart rate, which can be calculated by 220 minus age. Now comes the intensity. So 30 to 40 minutes of exercise at 50 to 60% of the target heart rate. And now type, safe exercises are recommended as we discussed before also. And time is, morning time is much ideal in comparison to the evening. So frequency of exercise, 2 days per week has minimal effect. So exercise should be prescribed for patient which includes more than 5 days a week. As a result, it is recommended that for the most of the patient with diabetes, their physical activity should be disturbed over 3 to 5 days per week, with no more than 2 consecutive days without physical activity. So the patient on insulin may need to exercise daily in order to lessen the difficulty of balancing caloric needs with insulin dosage. The duration of physical activity for persons with diabetes is directly related to the caloric expenditure requirements and inversely related to the intensity. So physical activity can be divided into 2 or 3 10 to 15 minute session. We can divide the exercise in 10 to 15 sessions, 2 to 3 times a day, to achieve the desired energy expenditure results. For patients who have a goal of weight loss, the intensity should be low to moderate, that is 40 to 75% of the heart rate maximum. And the duration needs to be incrementally increased to approximately 60 minutes per day to achieve the goals of 7 hours per week of physical activity and of long-term maintenance of the major weight loss. Now the intensity of exercise. So intensity, as you all know, that low to moderate intensity is perfect for the patients. So monitoring in the intensity of physical activity in persons with diabetes may require the use of heart rate or rate of perceived exertion. हम जब भी पेशेंट को कोई भी एक्सरसाइज प्रिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, वेदर इट इज ऑफ 40% ऑफ मैक्सिमम हार्ट रेट और 80% ऑफ द मैक्सिमम हार्ट रेट, सो उसमें हमें पेशेंट की इंटेंसिटी का हम कैसे पता लगाएंगे? विद द हेल्प ऑफ द रेट ऑफ परसीव्ड एक्सर्शन. सो एक्सर्शन कितना हो रहा है? तो बॉक्स स्केल इज द internationally recognized scale for RPE. Now the patient with diabetes should perform an adequate warm up and cool down. First, warm up should be with low intensity aerobic exercises. At the end of the aerobic conditioning phase of the workout, patients should reduce their intensity for at least 5 to 10 minutes before stopping completely. This cool down helps ensures the gradual return of the heart rate and blood pressure to near rest levels, or reduces the potential for post-exercise hypotension and arrhythmias. So the type of exercise, as we all discussed, is safe exercise is better for the diabetic patients. So aerobic activities for 30 minutes gradually, which increase to 60 minutes every day, or most 150 minutes per week. Heart rate during activity should be gradually increased to reach 60 to 70% of the maximum heart rate. Exercise session should include 5 to 10 minutes of warm up and 5 minutes of cool down. Exercise must involve most major muscle in both lower and upper parts of the body. Now the moderate intensity weight training program is recommended to maintain muscle strength. That is 8 to 12 repetitions 2 times per week is sufficient in order to maintain the strength of the muscles. Now the exercise must be regular. Benefits are diminished after 1 to 2 weeks of stopping. For those with feet problem, avoid running. Alternate can be walking, swimming, or cycling. When using insulin, avoid exercise if glucose levels below 100 milligram per dl or above 250 milligram per dl. Use proper shoes with silica gel or air-filled soles, and always keep feet dry. Avoid dehydration by keeping your body always hydrated, and do not inject insulin into a body part that is expected to be used during exercises. Now the graded exercise testing for the diabetes. अगर कोई पेशेंट को हम हाई इंटेंसिटी मॉडरेट टू हाई इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइज रिकमेंड कर रहे हैं, और तो उसमें कौन कौन ग्रेडेड एक्सरसाइजेस पहले कौन कौन सी हमें चीजें ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए हमें? सबसे पहले एज अगर पेशेंट की 35 इयर्स से ज्यादा है, सो वी विल गो फॉर द ग्रेडेड एक्सरसाइज टेस्टिंग. If type 2 diabetes is more than 10 years of duration, and if type 1 diabetes is more than 15 years of duration, if patient is complaining of any CHD risk factors, and if a patient is having some microvascular disease such as retinopathy, nephropathy, and presence of peripheral vascular disease. So exercise programs for patients with diabetes should gradually increase frequency or duration of the exercise initially instead of the intensity. हमें कभी भी जैसे किसी भी पेशेंट को अगर हमें इम्प्रूव करना है, तो हमें उसके लिए ग्रेजुअली स्टेप लेने पड़ेंगे, ना कि हम उसके पास एट अ स्ट्रेच एकदम से ज्यादा करने की जगह पे. Now comes the metabolic equivalence. So the amount of energy expended during exercise related to the energy expenditure during rest. Exercise in diabetic metabolic equivalence is so what is 1 MET? 1 MET is equals to 3.5 ml of oxygen per kg per minute. It is equals to 1 kilocalorie per kg per hour. So physical activity intensity in MET, we can say light exercise if the METs is less than 3. Exercise in diabetes we can call moderate if the exercise comes in between 3 to 6 minutes, and we can say vigorous if it comes above 6 minutes. So moderate and vigorous intensity physical activities, like moderate exercises are like brisk walking, recreational swimming, volleyball, slow aerobics, moderate cycling, gardening, tennis, badminton, etc. Vigorous exercises, for example, jogging, running, tennis, basketball, rope skipping, squash, fast aerobics, fast cycling, stepping, soccer, etc. Now the low intensity exercises. जब भी हम पेशेंट को स्टार्ट करते हैं एक्सरसाइज प्रिस्क्रिप्शन, सो ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद द लो इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइजेस, जस्ट फॉर एग्जांपल ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइजेस, neck exercises, hand exercises like this, and then we will further move to moderate and hello. Okay, then we will move to moderate and hello.
हाँ सर, जी सर.
Some disturbances going on my screen.
Okay sir. Please do not annotate. If someone is having any trouble, don't want to attend, I think it is better you can leave. Please don't do this. Please continue, sir.
Okay.
I'll see now.
Okay, so it is better to move start with the low intensity exercises and then further gradually move to the moderate and vigorous exercises. Okay, so these are some trunk exercises which we can start with. These are some leg exercises which we can start with the low intensity exercise. We can call them a low intensity exercise for the patient suffering from type 2 diabetes mellitus. Now come the practical aspect. अगर हमारे पास patient आता है तो हम उसको कैसे calculate करेंगे कि हमें किस तरीके से उसको exercise prescribe करनी है. So what is the amount of physical activity that promotes health? So as we know that moderate to high intensity exercises are much more beneficial for the patient. So energy expenditure, moderate intensity physical activity comes between 3 to 6 max. That is more than or equal to 30 minutes per day, and more than or equal to 5 days per week. It is equivalent to the 150 minutes per week or 1000 calories per week. So in special cases, diabetic with peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy may result in loss of sensation in the feet. Limit weight-bearing exercises such as treadmill, prolonged walking, jogging, step exercises, etc. Use proper shoes and always monitor the feet. Repetitive exercises on insensitive feet can lead to ulceration and fractures. Alternative exercises such as swimming, bicycling, arm exercises, chair exercises, etc. are beneficial with the patient suffering from peripheral neuropathy. Now the diabetic with autonomic neuropathy. So this condition may limit exercise capacity and increase the risk of cardiovascular event during exercise. Hypotension and hypertension are more likely to develop after vigorous exercises. So those patients may have difficulty with thermoregulation. Avoid exercise in hot or extreme cold environment and encourage the adequate hydration. Now the nephropathy. So low to moderate intensity forms of exercises are recommended in the case of nephropathy, and high intensity forms of exercises are totally contraindicated in case of nephropathy. So diabetic retinopathy, recommended low impact cardiovascular condition such as swimming, walking, low impact aerobics, stationary cycling, endurance exercises, and contraindicated strenuous activities, pounding or jarring, such as weightlifting, jogging, high impact aerobics, and racket sports are contraindicated in case of diabetic retinopathy. Now the hypoglycemia during or after exercises. It will most likely occur if the patient takes insulin or diabetes pill, skip a meal, exercise for a long time, exercises strenuous. So if it will most likely occur if the patient chances of hypoglycemia is most common if patient takes insulin, skips a meal, exercises for a long time, or exercises strenuously. So if it occurs, what we can do? So patient must eat a snack before exercise or adjust the medication dose. Remember, patient should always carry a source of carbohydrate with him, such as apple or orange juice or a piece of fruit or chocolate, whatever it consumes. Okay. Now the energy expenditure during physical activity. So this is a chart, this is a table in stating that the physical activity and calorie usage. For example, running 7.5 minutes per kilometer costs around 0.13 of calories. Brisk walking costs around 0.07 of calories per minute per kg. Okay. So this is the main table which describes the energy cost of activity. So the energy cost of physical activity is like walking slow, it's around 2.5 minutes, walking brisk, it's around 4 minutes, running 7.5 minutes per kilometers is around 8 minutes, and basketball, playing basketball or squash is around 8 or 12 minutes respectively. So how to calculate energy expenditure? So if, for example, as we all know that in brisk walking, 0.07 kilocalories per kg of body weight per minute is expended. So an example, a person weighing 76 kg would expend 0.07 into 76, that is equals to 5.3 kilocalories per minute. It means अगर आपके पास कोई पेशेंट आता है, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कोई भी पेशेंट आया और उसका वेट अराउंड 76 kg है, सपोज करके चलते हैं हम एग्जांपल लेके. So in that case, we know that 0.07 kilocalories per kg of body weight per minute हम brisk walk के दौरान उसको expend करते हैं. So what we will do, we will multiply 0.07 by 76, that is the weight of the patient. So it will gives the total kilocalories per minute the patient is used during brisk walking. So if he has to expend 1200 kilocalories per week, so how much time he should walk per week? So 1200 divided by 5.3 is equals to 226.4 minutes. So which is equals to 45 minutes of 5 days per week or 57 minutes of 4 days per week. So if अगर पेशेंट आपके पास आता है और उसको हमें देखना है कि हमें अगर उसको 1200 किलो कैलोरीज पर वीक एक्सपेंडिचर हमें करवाना है उस पेशेंट का, तो हम उसको किस कंडीशन में करवा सकते हैं, कैसे करवा सकते हैं? तो 1200 divided by 5.3 that is equals to 226.4 minutes. तो अगर हम 45 मिनट 45 मिनट्स एक्सरसाइज पेशेंट को करवाते हैं for 5 days per week or 57 minutes for 4 days per week, then we can achieve our goal. Okay, thank you.
Hello, am I audible, sir? Am I audible, sir? Yes, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say sorry because sometimes it happens that some people they just join for doing such nonsense things. So I was noticing since few minutes I tried to do it, but it sometimes happens. So sorry for that inconvenience. And
No problem.
literally it was a great session. We have a very good information, very good evidence-based information on the diabetes and exercise prescription. And we are really thankful to you for delivering such a great and such a informative session on the board for our participants. Now, sir, with your permission, can we go ahead for the queries? Because we had a good sincere participant. They are keen to ask the queries.
Yes, we can open with the queries.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, I would request, because there was a few questions which were coming when you were teaching, so I requested them to be quiet till the end. So now, anyone who is having any query, they can write down in the chat box, or either they can raise their hand. I can unmute them and they can ask the question. So, should I narrate the question for you, sir?
Yes, we can start.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, there is one question from Dr. Ashraf. Is physiotherapy helps to control ketoacidosis? Is physiotherapy helps to control ketoacidosis and gastroparesis? If yes, then
actually,
how?
Yes. Hello.
Yes, sir.
देखिए एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि जो हम बता रहे हैं कि गैस्ट्रोपैरेसिस जो होता है ये एक आपकी डिलेड कॉम्प्लिकेशन है. जब भी पेशेंट को काफी टाइम मतलब एक लॉन्ग टर्न्योर का अगर डायबिटिक मेलाइटिस होगा, टाइप 2 डायबिटिस मेलाइटिस अगर उसको होगी तो इवेंचुअली वो डेवलप करेगा गैस्ट्रोपैरेसिस. बट अगर अभी हमने जो बात करी, अगर पेशेंट हमारे पास आता है और उसको अगर काफी ज्यादा टाइम से अगर उसको हो चुका है गैस्ट्रोपैरेसिस, तो इन दैट कंडीशन हम उसको आगे ज्यादा डिट्रॉइट होने की कंडीशन से बचा सकते हैं. बट हम उसको वापस रिवर्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं कि बिल्कुल गैस्ट्रोपैरेसिस जो है बिल्कुल ठीक हो जाए. अगर वो हमारे पास इनिशियल स्टेजेस में आता है तो डेफिनेटली वी विल हम उसको डिले कर सकते हैं या फिर हम उसको कंडीशन को होने से रोक सकते हैं.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for explaining. And now,
Yeah.
there's one more question from Ashika. Is fasted cardio indicated for them? I don't know exactly what she wants to say. Fasted cardio. I think it is somewhere about a high intensity activity.
Fastest cardio?
Yeah, yes, sir. I think maybe
Okay.
around about the high intensity activity. Hope so.
ओके, हाई इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइजेस।
Yes,
देखिए,
sir.
हमेशा जब भी हम बात करते हैं एक्सरसाइज प्रिस्क्रिप्शन की डायबिटीज में, तो उस कंडीशन के अंदर हमेशा हमें ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि मॉडरेट टू हाई इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइजेस जो होती हैं वो बेनिफिशियल होती हैं डायबिटीज मेलाइटिस में, जो कि ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल को कंट्रोल करती हैं या उसको मेंटेन रखती हैं इन एन एडिक्वेट रेंज। तो अगर आपकी फास्टेस्ट आप कार्डियो की बात कर रहे हैं या हाई इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइज की बात कर रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेटली अगर आप हाई इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तो वो आपके ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल को प्रॉपर तरीके से मैनेज करेगा। बट इस कंडीशन को मैं पहले ही बता चुका हूं कि जब भी आपका पेशेंट आता है तो ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद लो इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइजेस रादर जंपिंग टुवर्ड्स दी हाई इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइजेस। क्योंकि कई बार पेशेंट्स को जैसे मैंने आपको बताया ऑटोनोमिक न्यूरोपैथी होती है, पेरिफेरल न्यूरोपैथी होती है, तो उन कंडीशंस के अंदर अगर हम पेशेंट्स को हाई इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइजेस करवाएंगे तो वो ज्यादा फेटल प्रूफ होगा एज कंपेयर टू लो इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइजेस। सो ऑलवेज start with the low intensity exercises and gradually we will move towards the moderate and strenuous exercise activities.
Thanks a lot, sir, for a kind elaboration on the doubt. There is one more very interesting question, sir. Is there any relationship between diabetes and PCOD?
Diabetes, yes, definitely. एक्चुअली अगर पेशेंट का पीसीओडी अगर देखा गया, आजकल अभी जो रिसेंटली रिसर्चेस हैं, जो रिसर्च पेपर्स अभी आए हैं, उनके अंदर चीज देखा गया है कि अगर पेशेंट का ग्लूकोज लेवल हाई है तो उसके अंदर पीसीओडी होने के चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं। और अगर हम उसको वाइस वर्सा भी कहें कि अगर पेशेंट पीसीओडी से सफर है तो उस पेशेंट के अंदर डायबिटीज होने के चांसेस ज्यादा होते हैं। सो अगर पेशेंट के अंदर पीसीओडी है, अगर पेशेंट सफर कर रहा है पीसीओडी से, तो उसके अंदर चांसेस हैं कि उसके अंदर हाइपरग्लाइसीमिया हो पेशेंट को। क्योंकि जो पीसीओडी का ट्रीटमेंट जो होता है वो भी एक हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक ड्रग से भी ट्रीटमेंट होता है, इसका मेटफॉर्मिन दिया जाता है इसके अंदर पीसीओडी में।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, sir, there is one more query from Shruti. We generally check the person is diabetic or not, and if the patient is diabetic, then we should follow the SAFE, or there is some other process too. If some
नहीं, अगर आपके पास
please.
सो अगर आपके पास पेशेंट आता है, तो अगर आपके पास पेशेंट आया है तो आपने सबसे पहले उसकी हिस्ट्री लेनी है, डिटेल हिस्ट्री लेनी है। अगर आपके पास पेशेंट है और वो कहता है कि उसको 5 साल या मोर देन 10 इयर्स उसको टाइप 2 डायबिटीज मेलाइटस है, तो मैंने आपको जैसे बताया ऑलवेज गो फॉर द ग्रेडेड एक्सरसाइज टेस्टिंग। क्योंकि उसके अंदर कई बार क्या होता है, इतने लॉन्ग टेन्योर के अंदर अगर पेशेंट होता है डायबिटीज पेशेंट को, तो उसके अंदर कई बार उसको जो कॉम्प्लिकेशंस होते हैं, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने आपको बताया पेरिफेरल न्यूरोपैथी होता है, ऑटोनोमिक न्यूरोपैथी, रेटिनोपैथी, जो मैक्रोवेस्कुलर और माइक्रोवेस्कुलर कॉम्प्लिकेशंस होते हैं डायबिटीज के, वो होने के चांसेस ज्यादा होते हैं। तो उस कंडीशंस के अंदर अगर हम उनको असेसमेंट, डिटेल असेसमेंट नहीं लेंगे और एक्सरसाइज प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे, तो वो जो है पेशेंट को बेनिफिट करने की जगह उसको नुकसान ज्यादा करेगी। ओके और अगर पेशेंट अगर सेफ है, सपोज करिए कि अगर पेशेंट को जो ब्लड शुगर लेवल है या ग्लूकोज जिसको हम कहते हैं ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल जो है, वो अगर आपका विद इन द रेंज है, विद इन द रेंज, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल फास्टिंग जो है अगर हम उसको कहें 100 to 120 मिलीग्राम पर डीएल है, और अगर पीपी जो है वो लेस देन 180 और 160 मिलीग्राम पर डीएल है, तो हम पेशेंट को सेफ प्रोटोकॉल के अकॉर्डिंग हम प्रिस्क्राइब कर सकते हैं।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच। नाउ so there is one more query from Ashika. In empty stomach, what should be done?
देखिए डायबिटीज पेशेंट जो होते हैं उनके अंदर सबसे मेन जो अगर एक कहें कॉम्प्लिकेशन जनरेट होता है, दैट इज हाइपोग्लाइसेमिया।
One more request from the same participant. I think she is not able to understand the Hindi, so answer the
fine. So as we all know that the main complication of diabetes mellitus is hypoglycemia. If you will prescribe some exercises to the patient which do not consume food, which do not had the food prior to the exercise, then it's most probably develop hypoglycemia, which is a medical emergency. So we will never prescribe exercise to a patient who did not consume a food or did not had a lunch or breakfast before the exercise prescription.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now there is one more question from Sebi. In osteomyelitis, if
Yeah.
osteomyelitis develops with the patient of DM, then how to manage?
Sorry?
In patient of diabetes, if patient is having the osteomyelitis also, then what would be the management
Okay.
plan?
अगर पेशेंट को ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस है, so first of all we will treat the osteomyelitis. हमारा मतलब ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस में फिजियोथेरेपी का ऐसा कोई रोल नहीं है, क्योंकि इन्फेक्शन जो होता है डायबिटीज मेलाइटिस के अंदर इन्फेक्शन प्रिवेल होने के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं ड्यू टू द हाई ग्लूकोज लेवल, हाई ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल. तो उस कंडीशन में क्या है, अगर पेशेंट का हम लोग एक्सरसाइज वगैरह हम करवा नहीं सकते उस कंडीशन में, तो वो बेसिकली मेडिकेशंस के थ्रू ही कंट्रोल करना पड़ेगा. अगर पेशेंट को ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस है और ऑस्टियोमाइलाइटिस अगर कंट्रोल हो चुका है, then we'll definitely go for the physiotherapy exercises.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. There is one question from our one of the participant, senior physiotherapist, Dr. Amita Anup Sharma, ma'am. She want to
Okay.
ask about, can you please advise some exercise sequences for a patient who is having diabetes and also the obese with fatty liver and never did any exercise before for weight loss? Patient is
Sorry,
having
please repeat the question.
Yes, sir. There is one patient.
हिमांशु, अगर आप क्वेश्चन को स्क्रीन पे पिंग कर दें तो ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा.
Sir, that is actually I don't know how to do it. That is
एक्चुअली मुझे क्वेश्चन जो है या तो मुझे दिख नहीं रहा है यहाँ पर.
आपको sir, have you opened with your chat box?
हाँ, मैं चेक वो ओपन करके ओपन करा हुआ है मैंने.
जी सर.
क्वेश्चन किसने पूछा है?
डॉक्टर अमिता अनूप शर्मा ने भेजा है. सर, कैन यू प्लीज एडवाइस सम एक्सरसाइजेस?
एक सेकंड मैं देख लेता हूँ कहाँ पर है इनका. डॉक्टर अमिता अनूप शर्मा.
Yes, sir, please.
In obese patient with fatty liver who never did exercise before for weight loss, definitely मैम. देखिए सबसे पहले जो है, अगर हम बात करते हैं पेशेंट जो फैटी लिवर का है, तो अगर फैटी लिवर ग्रेड 2 है या ग्रेड 2 से ज्यादा है, तो सबसे पहले मैं सजेस्ट करूंगा कि पेशेंट को हमेशा लो इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइज से स्टार्ट करें. क्योंकि अगर आप जो ग्रेड 2 या उससे ज्यादा ग्रेड 3 फैटी लिवर से आप स्टार्ट करते हैं, तो उसके अंदर लिवर के ऊपर ज्यादा स्ट्रेस पड़ता है पेशेंट के अंदर. सो ऑलवेज अगर पेशेंट का ग्रेड 1 या ग्रेड 2 है अगर फैटी लिवर, सो यू कैन स्टार्ट विद द मॉडरेट एक्सरसाइज इंटेंसिटी. So for example, you are talking about you're asking about these exercise sequences. So first of all, start with the warm up. 5 to 10 minutes of warm up, such as jogging, jumping, or some sort of walking, brisk walking, 5 to 10 minutes. And after that, we will go for some exercises which ranges around 50 to 60% of our maximum heart rate. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं बात करता हूँ, सपोज करिए कोई पेशेंट आपके पास आता है एंड इट्स एज अराउंड 40 years of age, so we will calculate 220 minus age, so it comes around 180. So 180 is the maximum heart rate जब हम पेशेंट को प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे कोई भी एक्सरसाइज. तो अगर हम मॉडरेट एक्सरसाइज की बात करें तो इट कम्स अराउंड 50 to 60% of the maximum heart rate. So we can easily calculate 50 to 60% of 180. That is maximum heart rate. So it comes the moderate exercises. And if we are talking about the highest exercise or strenuous exercise activities, then we will calculate the maximum heart rate, and then we go for the 60 to 70 or 75% of the maximum heart rate.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for great elaboration. Now there is one question from Gurpreet Kaur.
Yeah. Is this exercise prescription principle same for diabetes mellitus 1 and diabetes mellitus 2? And similarly, how to differentiate for pediatric and geriatric populations? Actually, basically type 1 diabetes mellitus जो होता है, इसके अंदर इतना ज्यादा रोल फिजियोथेरेपी का मतलब एक्सरसाइजेस का होता नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि उसके अंदर जो है वो इंसुलिन डिपेंडेंट डायबिटीज है. तो अगर तो उसके अंदर इंसुलिन जो होती है या तो कंप्लीटली जो बीटा सेल्स होते हैं वो एग्जॉस्ट हो चुके होते हैं, या फिर इंसुलिन जो होती है वो रिलीज ही नहीं होती है. बट एक और मैकेनिज्म होता है जिसको हम कहते हैं स्केलेटल मसल कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड मैकेनिज्म, जिसको हम ब्लड फ्लो मैकेनिज्म भी कहते हैं। तो जब मसल्स एक्टिविटी करती हैं तो जो ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल जो होता है वो कंज्यूम हो जाता है एटीपी प्रोडक्शन के अंदर। तो टाइप 1 डायबिटीज जो होता है वो एज सच इतना ज्यादा हेल्पफुल नहीं है इसके अंदर एक्सरसाइजेस, बट हाँ टाइप 2 डायबिटीज के अंदर जो है जो अभी हम लोगों ने एक्सरसाइज प्रिस्क्रिप्शन पढ़ा, दैट इज मच मोर इंपॉर्टेंट एंड मच मोर हेल्पफुल। सिमिलरली अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं पीडियाट्रिक एंड जीरियाट्रिक पॉपुलेशंस की, तो जीरियाट्रिक पॉपुलेशन के अंदर हमेशा हमें प्रिकॉशंस ज्यादा लेने पड़ते हैं, क्योंकि उनके अंदर जो होता है जैसे टाइप 2 डायबिटीज हमेशा जब बात करते हैं तो इट कम्स अराउंड 40-45 इयर्स आफ्टर द एज ऑफ 40-45 इयर्स ऑफ एज। तो अगर हम पेशेंट की बात करते हैं जीरियाट्रिक पॉपुलेशन की, तो अगर पेशेंट आपके पास आया है तो उस पेशेंट को आप पहले एग्जामिन करिए कि वेदर ही और शी इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम एनी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस, और उसको कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं हो रही है, जैसे डायबिटिक न्यूरोपैथी होती है, रेटिनोपैथी होती है, नेफ्रोपैथी होती है। अगर ये आपके मेडिकल एग्जामिनेशन या मेडिकल एग्जामिनर ने आपको प्रूफ लिख करके दिया हुआ है, सजेस्ट करके दिया हुआ है, तो आप उस चीज को ध्यान में रखते हुए जो मैंने आपको एक्सरसाइजेस बताई हैं उस हिसाब से आप उसको प्रोसीड करिए। और अगर पीडियाट्रिक जो केसेस हैं, पीडियाट्रिक जनरली टाइप 1 डायबिटीज के अंदर बात कर रहे हैं आप, तो टाइप 1 डायबिटीज के अंदर जैसे मैंने आपको बताया जो बच्चे होते हैं उनके अंदर अगर आप उनको स्पोर्ट्स एक्टिविटी उसमें करवाने की कोशिश करते हैं या स्पोर्ट्स एक्टिविटी के लिए आप उनको ज्यादा प्रमोट करते हैं, तो डेफिनेटली उनको वो जो स्केलेटल मसल्स जो होती हैं वो आपकी ग्लूकोज कंजम्पशन में हेल्प करती हैं।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I think there was
any other question?
yes, sir. There is one more question from Dr. Ashraf.
Okay.
He want to ask about the management, prevention of the diabetes mellitus, role of differently at different levels.
ओके, सो प्रिवेंशन ऑफ डायबिटीज मेलाइटिस, इसके अंदर बेसिकली हमें 3 चीजों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए। एक तो फैमिली हिस्ट्री, अगर फैमिली हिस्ट्री में आपके डायबिटीज मेलाइटिस है तो उन कंडीशंस के अंदर हमें ज्यादा अवेयर रहना चाहिए कि आपको चांसेस जो है वो एज कंपेयर टू अदर सब्जेक्ट्स वो ज्यादा है। एंड सेकेंडली अगर आपका वेट, अगर आप ओवरवेट हैं तो आपको उसके अंदर ध्यान रखने की जरूरत है। एंड थर्ड ये जो है, अगर थर्ड ये है कि आपका जो फिजिकल एक्टिविटी लेवल है वो एक बिल्कुल सेडेंटरी लाइफस्टाइल अगर आप जी रहे हैं, तो अगर ये 3 चीजें आपको मिलती है आपके पास या आप देखते हैं कि आपके साथ ऐसा है, तो डेफिनेटली यू शुड बी अवेयर। आपको थोड़ा अवेयर होने की जरूरत है कि किस तरीके से आप इस कंडीशन से बच सकते हैं और कैसे आगे प्रोग्रेस होने से उसको बचा सकते हैं। तो रेगुलर एक्सरसाइज, एक आपका बैलेंस डाइट और आपका एक काउंसलिंग जिसको हम कहते हैं मेडिटेशन भी आजकल काफी हेल्पफुल प्रूफ हो रहा है इन कंडीशन सच एज टाइप 2 डायबिटीज मेलाइटिस।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And there was one more question from Gurpreet Kaur. Do all these principles apply similarly for the patients coming in physiotherapy OPD, like stroke with a history of diabetes mellitus, or we can modulate the treatment protocols?
This question is from
Gurpreet Kaur.
Is this exercise prescription principle same for diabetes mellitus 1 and 2?
No, sir.
I've already answered.
Previously. Before that, she has also asked one more question, that does the principle on which we are working with diabetic population are similar for the patient who is having the history of diabetes and the stroke, or we need to modulate it according to the condition?
Wait a minute, let me find the question first.
It was sent at 9:39. Gurpreet Kaur.
9:39.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do all these principles apply similarly for the patients coming in physiotherapy OPD, like stroke with history of diabetes mellitus? देखिए, सबसे पहले अगर हम बात करते हैं कि स्ट्रोक पेशेंट, तो स्ट्रोक पेशेंट की फिजिकल एक्टिविटी वैसे ही हैम्पर्ड हो जाएगी। तो जो पेशेंट आपके पास आया है स्ट्रोक का, अगर उसको डायबिटीज मेलाइटिस है तो वही एक डायबिटीज मेलाइटिस की कॉम्प्लिकेशन की वजह से ये स्ट्रोक हुआ है। क्योंकि जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि इसके अंदर जो है न्यूरोपैथी होने के चांसेस ज्यादा होते हैं। तो अगर आपका पेशेंट आया तो ऑब्वियसली आप मॉडरेट टू जो विग्रेस एक्सरसाइजेस हैं वो आप उसको पेशेंट को नहीं करा सकते हैं, बट इवेंचुअली जैसे जैसे पेशेंट अगर आपका प्रोग्रेस कर रहा है, अगर पेशेंट को प्रोग्रेस हो रहा है और वो आपका वापस बैक टू द नॉर्मल लाइफ आ रहा है, अगर आपका स्ट्रोक पेशेंट, तो हमेशा उसको हम एडवाइस करेंगे कि लो इंटेंसिटी एक्सरसाइज से हम उसको स्टार्ट करें। और इसके अंदर एक मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट चीज जो है वो ये है कि ऑलवेज मॉनिटर ब्लड प्रेशर। अगर पेशेंट का ब्लड प्रेशर जो सिस्टोलिक ब्लड प्रेशर है, इफ इट क्रॉस मोर देन 140 or 145 mm of Hg, then we should immediately stop that exercise. And the diastolic pressure, if it exceeds more than 90 or 95 mm of Hg, then we should stop. The range is between 90 to 140.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now,
Okay.
we are having lots of queries, means the participants were listening carefully and we had a great session. It is the sign of a very good session that we have a lots of queries. So really it was a fantastic and wonderful session. Yes, sir. There is one more question from Namrata Bilani. If patient is having diabetes mellitus type 2 and suddenly starts sweating profusely, what the precaution we should take?
Yeah. देखिए, जो आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा है नम्रता जी, दैट इज इफ पेशेंट स्टार्ट्स प्रोफ्यूजली स्वेट, तो इट इज अ साइन ऑफ हाइपोग्लाइसीमिया। अगर आपके पास पेशेंट आता है और अगर आप उसको एक्सरसाइज करा रहे हैं एंड ड्यूरिंग द ड्यूरेशन ऑफ एक्सरसाइज अगर उसको इस तरीके का सिम्टम आता है कि उसको एकदम से काफी ज्यादा स्वेटिंग स्टार्ट हो गई है, प्रोफेशनली वो स्वेट कर रहा है, तो उस कंडीशन के अंदर पेशेंट को आप इमीडिएटली कोई भी कार्बोहाइड्रेट स्नैक दे सकते हैं जो हाई शुगर कैलोरी का हो। तो उसमें उस कंडीशन में क्या होगा कि पेशेंट जो है जो हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक हो रहा होगा वो वापस से उसकी ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल जो है वो वापस नॉर्मल कंडीशन में आ जाएगी, एंड आफ्टर दैट यू कैन प्रोसीड विद योर एक्सरसाइज प्रोटोकॉल।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now again, there is a query from Ashika. Is there any specific time interval between a meal and exercise for diabetic patient?
Yeah, देखिए,
but
हम जनरली अगर
answer is required in English, sir. I think she is from South.
Okay. So at what time she asked the question? Please tell me the time.
Is there any specific time interval between meal and exercise for diabetic patient?
No, Himanshu, please tell me the time of question she asked.
9:50, sir. 9:50 by Ashika. Yes, sir. Ashika Kamal.
Okay, wait. 9:50. Actually, I am not able to see.
Ashika Kamal.
9:15 or 9:50?
50, sir. 9:50, 50. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any specific time interval between a meal and exercise for diabetic patients? Kindly explain in English, sir. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So first of all, yes, definitely. In a case when we prescribe an exercise to a patient who is not suffering from, who is not having any diabetes or is not having any hyperglycemia, then for that patients only we recommend that there should be a gap of at least 2 to 3 hours in between the meal and the exercise, because at least 2 hours are needed to consume, to metabolize the food and to digest the food. So in the case of diabetic patients, you all know that if a patient is having diabetes mellitus from a long time, so he may develop gastroparesis. So in that case, definitely after 3 to 4 hours, we can prescribe, we can suggest that he should do exercises after 3 to 4 hours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And we are really grateful to having such a great session today. And we had lots of queries, means we had a lot of learning ahead, and we enjoyed today's session a lot. And at the last, I would like to again want to say sorry to you for some inconvenience which occurs in between the session. And for your information, I also want to let you know, sir, that we had many senior faculty members and academicians who are joining us over here, and we had the participant from around 3 countries here in this session. So this is the aura of your session. We had a good houseful session today. We are having a senior physical therapist, Dr. Amita Anup Sharma ma'am from the Saudi Arabia, my own respected teachers, Dr. Harsh sir, Dr. Charu Sharma ma'am, and Dr. Ritu ma'am, and they are also joining us. Dr. Charu ma'am is joining long way from the Washington, USA. One more physical therapist, Dr. Priyanka Mangal, is joining us from USA itself, and Dr. Jubin Kamran, our previous resource person, Dr. Menal Munjal, and many others also joins us. So we are really grateful to them. Also, Dr. Kalpana Jutsi ma'am, she is the associate professor in the Jamia Hamdard University, Delhi, and Dr. Jitendra Munjal sir, he is a senior physical therapist in the North DMC Medical College, Delhi. So we are really grateful and honored to have all the senior faculty members to be with us as a participant. And it is really a matter of proud for us, matter of pleasure for us. We are really blessed to have such kind of senior academicians with us. And this is all because of their blessings and their love. And really, sir, it was a wonderful session, and we are from the core of our heart, we are really thankful to you and honored to have you with us on the board. And this was really a wonderful session, and we would like to hear again in future if you can spare your time. This was a really great session.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir. And at the last, there is information that tomorrow we have the session via again a senior sports physical therapist, Dr. Vaya Ramakrishnan, and he is going to talk about the fitness in special conditions. But the time is little changed. Tomorrow session is planned at 8:30 p.m., 30 minutes before the usual time. So please mind this. Tomorrow's session is at the 8:30 p.m. Thanking you all for the patient listening. Thanks a lot for the attending the session, and thanks a lot to the Vishwajit sir for giving such a great information on the much needed topic which we usually deal with in the physiotherapy OPD. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Manshu. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.